A quick warning before we get into it. This episode discusses sexual assault, including disturbing excuses made by men, media stories, and personal experiences. Please listen with care and check the description for support resources if needed. Welcome to Dinner Party Massacre. I'm Britt.
And I'm Sonia.
This is the podcast where we bring the conversations you're not supposed to have at the table.
From religion to conspiracy theories, no topic is too controversial for us to dig into.
So pull up a chair because this dinner party is about to get messy. Hey girl.
Hey girl.
Hey. Today's gonna be a little more serious.
It's gonna be
We're not gonna be more serious, but the topic's gonna be more serious.
Yeah, it's a little spookier.
So as we said, we are going to be talking about men today.
Mm-hmm.
We know, not all men, but too many men.
Yeah,
and it's always men.
It's the cookie reference.
It's the cookie reference. You want to share it?
It's if you have 6 cookies and I tell you one of them is poisoned, are you gonna eat the cookies?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna try
Obviously
all of
not.
the cookies. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have 0 of those cookies. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Because sure, 5 of them are awesome and great and delicious, but one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them will kill you.
One of them will kill you.
So don't hang out alone with any of those cookies.
Nope.
Just in case.
Yeah.
So I brought 3 things I want to talk to you about.
3 recent events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're all pretty recent.
Yeah.
First one, I'm sure you've heard.
Hmm.
There was a group chat on Telegram of 70,000 men.
Yeah.
Where they were sharing strategies for assaulting women and sharing photos of assaulted women and just generally helping each other victimize women.
Wasn't it nationwide?
Yep.
Yep.
Topic 1. Topic 2, I want to talk about Giselle Pellicott. Apologies if I'm saying her name wrong. This is the story I'm sure, again, you've heard of and people listening have heard of.
Yeah.
Her husband repeatedly drugged and had her assaulted by his friends, and I assume just random men.
I think it was also
because there were 51 men charged, which means there were probably more than that involved.
I think there was closer to like 80, 90.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Because you know they're not charging them all.
No.
So there's 51 men charged, so we're going to talk about some of the charges and the outcome of that. The last thing I want to talk to you about is a story. There was a woman in Massachusetts who was on a date and was uncomfortable, worried about her safety, so she decided to start audio recording. Ended up being assaulted by the man she was on a date with, had a full audio recording of the entire thing, and she is now being charged for recording without his consent. So, we're going to talk about the horrifying patterns of abuse and how the men are often protected. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So if any of that sounds like anything anyone doesn't want to hear about, this is your warning.
This is your warning to
come back next week. We'll talk about something a little less aggressive next week. The first one I want to talk about is the Telegram group. German journalists found the large group on Telegram, some with up to 70,000 members, so there was more than one found, where men shared tips and content promoting sexual violence against women. They exchanged strategies for sedating and sexually assaulting women, with some users sharing pictures and live videos of assaults. These groups included participants from various countries, highlighting the global nature of the issue. This is horrific.
And the fact, first of all, bad in any case.
Yes.
But the fact that it's worldwide is insane. And men of all ages are...
All ages, all countries. Men
all
everywhere.
Backgrounds, all languages.
Yep.
Which is mainly English, which is weird.
Yeah.
But almost like medieval, showing strategies of like assault and like rape and all these.
This is how I drugged my partner.
Yeah, this is how I drugged it. This is the steps on how to do it. This is the drug I used. It's medieval.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
And like to know that there's enough men who want to do this, enough to go like look on the internet to like try and find resources to help them achieve it. And the fact that there's no way this is the only one.
No.
It's probably not even the biggest one.
No.
And it's like, it's fucking scary.
It's a network of men being like, oh, I wonder how I can do this. Let me find a community of men that know how to do this.
Yeah.
That have experience doing this.
And they can, like, literally send me a video on how they did it successfully, so I can also do it successfully.
Yeah.
And there were cases of, like, pedophilia, incest, like, all kinds of shit in this group.
And I'm sure a lot of these situations, like, there are men with, like, mental disorders, like...
For sure.
Forensic cases and whatnot of men that, like, literally can't control themselves in these situations. But I do think a majority of these men are fully cognitive, can take control of their own lives, which makes it even scarier.
They probably have jobs.
They're fully aware. They
families.
have wives, families, children.
Mm-hmm.
The family man, essentially.
Yeah. Because that's the act, right? That's the whole...
It's like this whole other identity that you have. And it's just insane to me that these married men...
They all, I say they as in violent, horrific, predatory men. Mm-hmm. They're always fucking married.
Yeah.
They're always married. They almost always have children. Mm-hmm. It's like getting married and having kids is a fucking stage show.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm expected to act in this show. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go do that. I'll put on the little play.
Yeah, but once the show's over.
Or even behind the fucking curtain.
Yeah.
While the show's still going on.
Yeah.
Like, how
like
many...
in between changing scenes.
How many serial killers?
Right?
Had a wife.
Too many.
Or a girlfriend who knew nothing.
Right.
Or a whole family.
Right.
There was one guy, I forget his name. Horrific serial killer guy. Why can't I remember? He lived in, like, Alaska or something. But he did a whole, like, torture and murder in the garage. Married. Had kids.
Yeah.
People were home.
Yeah.
He was just like... There were interviews with the family and stuff, and it was like, oh, we just weren't allowed to go in the garage.
Yeah,
like, that was Dad's room.
That,
yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we weren't allowed to go in the basement because that was Dad's space.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
if anyone in your family ever forbids you from entering an entire space,
look into it.
Go see it.
Go see it
safely.
Like, if it's your mom's nightstand, don't look into that.
I mean, that's not a whole room.
Yeah. Like, don't look into that, guys. But like, if it's like, oh,
if your husband won't let you in his shop.
Yeah.
Or in the whole basement.
Yeah, if your husband's like, oh, like, don't go into the basement. Like, no, like, that's my
No,
space.
like, literally locks it.
Yeah, like, go fucking look in there. Because I bet your ass there's something fucking sketchy going on.
Absolutely, 100%.
And it's like, I don't know, like, how many of these men actually did anything. Like, obviously, like, the men that, like, did something and showed the evidence of it, like, yeah. But, like, I don't know how many of these men followed through with anything after asking for evidence, but it's still scary enough to know that these men are having these thoughts of wanting to do something.
But even, like, I bet there's men literally in there just to get off on the conversations.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, like, these women are being tortured, like, this is so hot. Like,
yeah.
Like
I need this.
Like a slave fetish, almost.
Yeah. Like, maybe they're not doing it, but they just love to hear about it being done.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
And I think even, like, teenage boys were in this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, one of the main perpetrators from this chat was the man that had his now ex-wife raped on multiple occasions and had recorded it.
Multiple being probably hundreds.
Yeah. I have the page here that says only him and 50 others were, like, officially charged, but there was no less than 72 men involved.
That's crazy.
Over 22 of those men just got off the hook. Do you want to go into more detail about what actually happened?
So, Giselle Pellicot was a 72-year-old French woman, or is a 72-year-old French woman. She was drugged and raped by her husband, whose name I'm not going to say, who also invited, it says dozens of men, to assault her over nearly a decade. Dozens is an understatement. So, a total of 51 men were charged, including her husband. Her husband received a 20-year prison sentence, while the other men were sentenced to between 3 and 15 years. Giselle waived her anonymity to raise awareness about sexual violence. 20 years is fucking insulting.
For
over a decade?
For having nearly 100 rapes happen to you, and for your husband to film every single one of them and allow every single one of them and drug
facilitate them.
And for him to just get 20 years?
That's crazy.
Fucking insane. Life. Immediately. No parole.
Life. Like, why are we even going to trial? I mean, everyone gets a trial. Yeah. I'm fine.
But, like,
fine.
You get a trial. That is violation of someone so intensely.
Repeatedly, intentionally, over and over for such a long period of time.
For years.
Years.
Without her knowledge.
Without her knowledge is crazy.
Right.
Not that, I mean, maybe she, I don't know, is there any good side to that in that she doesn't have to, like, relive memories of years of abuse?
Maybe, but then I also feel like you're going to go through this identity crisis of like, what the fuck? All these men did all these things to me and I had no idea about it.
Yeah.
And then
The violation's
you don't know
insane.
who your husband is.
So I want to dig into some of these men because that's what we're here to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And we have names, we have ages, we have backgrounds of the 51 men.
And the worst part, I feel like, is most of these men are fathers and husbands.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that made me want to talk about this case. Because I'm pretty sure you sent me a TikTok that did a quick overview of the charges.
But these married men have wives who they can have consensual sex with, and they choose to assault this.
Well, maybe their wives don't want to, so this is how they have to.
Oh, fuck, I'm not surprised.
Or maybe they're assaulting their wives as well. So let's talk about a few of these men. We've got a 54-year-old man named Cyril.
He had been sexually frustrated from his relationship.
Partner and mother of his children was on holiday at the time.
A lot of these also say that, the husband just said it was like a game, or that they thought...
I saw a lot of that too.
Or they thought they had her consent because he gave consent for her.
Yeah. I would expect to get consent from the woman beforehand.
But yeah,
and be like, hey, when you show up, I'm going to be unconscious. Don't worry, I'm totally into this.
Yeah.
But for him to just say, no, trust me.
No, trust me, I'm going to film the whole thing and she's not going to know about it.
She loves it, trust me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's fucking insane.
But for that many men to be like, I don't know, he said it was fine.
Yeah.
Like the ownership of it.
Yeah.
Of the he said I could.
Yeah, like, he said I could. Oh, he said we were just going to play
She's his and he said I could.
Yeah, it's like she's a toy.
That's insane.
Right? She is a grown woman.
Video evidence showed the rape put her life in danger.
As she risked not being able to breathe.
And he got 8 years. Violent childhood at the hands of his father. I wouldn't doubt most of these men have some sort of abuse.
No, I wouldn't either.
Or assault. But, hey, let's not...
let's not deflect.
Let's not say, oh, but I was hurt too, so it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I had a bad childhood, so now she has to get raped and recorded.
If anything, it should make people more... why doesn't it make people more aware?
I don't know. I definitely think it's a brain thing.
Yeah.
I don't think...
It's a trauma thing.
Yeah. But I also think it's something that if you're going to go through this, talk to a fucking counselor.
Hey, men. Any men listening?
If you go through something traumatic...
No. Just go to therapy anyways.
Okay. Just go to therapy in general, actually.
I think everyone should go to therapy.
I agree.
Just even if you're like, oh, my life is great, I have nothing to talk about, blah, blah.
But I don't care. You just want to talk about it.
Just go.
Just go.
Just talk. It's so nice to have a third party.
Who knows nothing about you.
Yeah. And just be like, oh, life is great. This is my blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, oh, sick, cool. Or maybe they'll say, oh, that's kind of weird that you feel that way about that.
Yeah. And then therapy isn't a person being like, you fucking suck and you're the worst. It's you sitting there going, oh, I fucking suck.
Yeah.
It's good to self-reflect.
Yes. And more men need to do it.
Yeah.
Because the amount of women in therapy because of men who aren't in therapy.
Too high.
Okay, let's keep going.
Anyways.
Lionel, 44. A worker at the local supermarket. That's nice. A married father of 3. You don't say.
He admitted to raping her, but didn't intend to rape her.
Well, sometimes you accidentally rape somebody.
Sometimes your dick just slips in, hey?
Since I never obtained Mrs. Pellicot's consent, I have no choice but to accept the facts, he told the court. I am sorry, I can only imagine the nightmare you've lived through, and I am part of this nightmare. I never told myself I will rape that woman, but he admitted I'm guilty of rape. I don't even have words.
Okay, you admitted what you did. I don't think...
told the court he had been sexually abused between the ages of 12 and 13.
I don't think he should get an applause for admitting that.
No, go to therapy. Go to therapy first.
Yeah. Don't go,
I'm
so sorry I did it.
Before you accidentally live your trauma through traumatizing someone else.
Yeah. I committed part of the nightmare. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You're not forgiven for that.
Nope. Jacques, 72. Married for 25 years with 2 children.
Jean-Pierre.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Wait. Jacques considered that his religious education had made him a giving person who did good and respected women. He said he loved women in all their complexity. He admitted to touching Pellicot, but said there was no penetration and therefore no rape. Go to fucking hell, Jacques.
Yeah.
3 of them... Oh, hold on. He was found guilty and sentenced to 5 years, 3 of them suspended. Not enough time.
Jean-Pierre, not accused of raping Giselle, said he was found guilty and sentenced to 12 years for using the same technique to drug and rape his own wife and organize for Pellicot to rape her with him. So, instead of using Giselle's body, they were like, let's switch it up. Let's use a different woman.
Admitted to sedating his wife, with whom he had 5 children.
Is married and
4
children.
of 4?
Yep, 4 out of 4.
I was raised by pigs in the woods, he had told his children. Victim of sexual abuse within his family. Therapy. 26-year-old youngest man. 10 years.
See, a lot of these say, I didn't intend to rape her. I didn't know what consent was.
Well, of course that's what you're going to say.
You didn't know what consent was at 22 years old?
Therapy.
School.
I don't know.
Sex ed class, 101.
Found it strange that Giselle was snoring, and he knew she was unconscious, but had not known this meant she had not consented.
Kawhi was absent for the premature birth of his daughter the night he was accused of raping Giselle Pellicott for the first time. Wow.
Missed the birth of his daughter.
To rape a woman.
He didn't mean to.
No, he didn't mean to. It was just an accident.
Hugoos.
A father of 2. Attempted rape on Giselle a few days before his girlfriend's birthday in October 2019.
Happy birthday, I'm going to go rape somebody.
A married father who had given up part-time work to care for his disabled son. He was found guilty of raping Giselle. He was sentenced to 9 years. So we're going pretty strong on the married.
I don't accept being called a rapist. I'm not a rapist.
He admitted that Giselle seemed dead, with her leg dangling oddly, but he said he thought it was a scenario or a game that she was pretending. He said she seemed dead.
Fabian, 39.
Oh, previous history of domestic violence and sexual assault of a minor.
You don't fucking say. He hadn't gone to the home with the intentions of raping her.
I didn't go there to rape her. I didn't know I was supposed to rape her, but I recognized the facts. He added he did not pay attention to whether or not she had consented.
God, that's disgusting. He said he wasn't interested in a scenario where a woman was unconscious because he liked to hear women scream. Matthew.
High on MDMA and thought it was a game.
But I can't deny it was a rape. Fuck you. Andy.
Married father of 2. Had 2 domestic violence convictions. And on Thursday was found guilty of attempting rape of Giselle.
I thought it was a game.
Husband had given me permission. In my mind, she agreed to it.
In my mind.
In my mind, she agreed to it. She didn't say anything.
Simone, 43.
Father of 5. He was the only one that she recognized.
He had thought she was only pretending to be asleep and would wake up. I'm not a rapist, he told the court. Imagine being Giselle, sitting in this fucking courtroom.
And all these men just being like, well, her husband said it was fine. Oh, yeah. She looked dead.
It wasn't rape. I'm not a rapist.
Yeah, I'm not a rapist. I just had sex with her while she looked dead.
As a teenager, he was abused and raped by a man his parents had sent him to live with. Therapy.
Father of 3. And possession of child abuse images and handed a 12-year prison sentence.
Can we just do life?
Hundreds of images?
Can we just do life?
For
child predators? Can we just do that?
Hundreds of images were found on a USB stick. Admitted charges but denied rape.
She wasn't cold. She wasn't dead. Her skin was soft. After I leave prison, I'd like to create an association to get men like me to understand that consent is important. I'd go to swingers clubs and say, don't forget to get consent. A fucking revolutionary. Thank the Lord for Terry.
Yeah, shout out Terry for raping a woman and then that clicking in his fucking head.
Thanks for growing a fucking conscience. But also just stay in prison.
61 years old.
Stay in prison, go to therapy.
Maybe we are going to go through all these, actually.
Jerome.
Father of 3.
One of the few to have admitted.
Oh, okay. He told an expert psychiatrist in the case that he had been aware she had not consented. He went to the home 6 times. He was first attracted to the idea of having an inert body at his disposal and being free to act however he wanted.
You know what else is annoying about this? There's a pretty big kink community in our world.
Mm-hmm.
There are women who would do this.
Yeah.
Consensually. Maybe not with these men. I've never met them, and they're married. So maybe, I don't know.
But there is an entire community of people who are like, fuck yes, like sedate me, like
film
me.
I was attracted to having a body at my disposal.
Yeah. So many women are into that.
Yeah.
Consensually.
Yeah. And he says, it wasn't for the rape. It was just for this thing. Then go find that.
Literally. There are women that want that. Not every woman's going to want that.
But there are some.
Not a married woman.
I mean.
Well, Terry, who's a father, I didn't set out of my house saying I'm going to rape someone. His ex-wife told the court the rape was out of character.
Oh, good. Let him out then.
Yeah. Oh, that was just weird. That was a one-time thing.
It was a fluke. It's fine. Adrian. What did you do, Adrian? Thought he was taking part in a game. He told the court that when he was 21, he discovered after a paternity test that he was not the biological father of the 3-year-old girl he was raising with his girlfriend. He said from that point onwards, I had a hatred towards women. The night he raped Giselle, his new girlfriend was 9 months pregnant. She gave birth 10 days later. He admitted to court experts that he had mistreated his pregnant girlfriend and called her a whore.
I'm sure he did more than just call her a whore.
The court heard that he had been sexually abused by a cousin when he was 10. What do we say to that?
Get therapy.
Therapy.
I'm not a rapist, he said. I don't remember anything. Saying again, this isn't the first guy that said, like, oh, the husband probably drugged me.
And he only got 20 years, the husband. He recalled only getting into his car afterwards. What a convenient time to regain your...
Like, oh, yeah, anything that happened in the house, just don't remember.
Weird. Time to drive home.
Yeah, guess I was just whatever.
Former nurse. I'm not even going to pronounce his name.
Victim of a trick. I did not leave because I feared it would ruin his Saturday night.
Are you kidding me?
Asked in court how, as a trained anesthesia nurse, he had not seen that Giselle was unconscious. He said that he had thought she was pretending to be dead, but never thought that she'd been drugged, and believed he had seen her move.
I was terrified, but he didn't want to ruin his Saturday night. Do you know how many people's nights I'd ruin if I was terrified of anything?
Right.
Everyone's.
Everyone
in the vicinity. Your night is fucking ruined. I'm sorry.
Night's over, guys.
Karim.
He had been told that Giselle would be asleep from alcohol and a sleeping tablet, but that he thought it was a game.
Did not go there with the aim of committing a crime. Vincent. 42.
On 2 occasions.
He had no intention of committing rape.
He thought she would wake up.
Found the situation bizarre, but trusted the fact that he was at a couple's home, invited by the husband.
He said he felt no pleasure himself, but went back a second time because the husband told him that he and Giselle had enjoyed it.
Sir, I have a question. Did you rape that woman? Actually, I'll have you know I did not find pleasure.
I didn't come.
Oh, okay then. Never mind, you can go.
Yeah, bye.
Sorry.
You're gone. You can leave. During his testimony, Giselle got up and briefly left the courtroom.
She's the strongest woman on the planet.
To have all these men say this shit to you...
And that's the one time she's left. Be so for real right now.
Right.
The way I'd be screaming and bashing my head on the wall in the bathroom.
The way I'd be yelling at every single one of these men.
Literally. Jean-Marc. It was only after he left the house that he thought about whether Giselle Pellicott had consented. He didn't alert the police. I should have done, but it didn't cross my mind. It's interesting how her husband seems to have different stories. Because lots of them seem to think she's into it. It's a fun game. They, oh, she really liked it. You should come back again. But then this one, it says they met in a supermarket car park, and he told him he wanted to punish his wife for having an affair in the past.
Well, yeah, and then, like, with another guy, it was like, oh, my wife is a prudish bitch.
Yeah.
But then other guys, it's like, oh my god, she loved the video, she watched it, she wants to do it again.
Yeah.
And it's like...
He must have, like, felt out the guys.
Yeah.
And be, like, tried what would work.
Yeah. What truck driver hasn't been to prostitutes?
That's not a prostitute, buddy.
No, that's someone's wife.
Dominique. 13-year sentence for raping on 6 different occasions. He denied rape, saying he had not intended to rape anyone. I just forgot one big guarantee. Madame's consent.
No shit.
Mohammed. 70. Sentenced to 5 years in prison for raping his 17-year-old daughter. And you wonder why they do it again. I couldn't imagine for a fraction of a second that Dominique Pellicott did that without his wife knowing. But he also raped his own daughter, so I don't really trust his
I don't really think he gives a fuck.
Barometer here. Ahmed, 54, a plumber.
Married for more than 30 years with 3 children.
You don't say.
Denied rape and told the court, I'm not a rapist, but if I had wanted to rape, I wouldn't have chosen a 57-year-old woman. I would have chosen a pretty one.
That's insane. I didn't rape her. Look at her.
I didn't rape her. She's too old.
I didn't rape her. She's not pretty enough.
No.
Fuck you, Ahmed. Stay in prison. Go to therapy. Look at her. What a fucking queen.
Right, just to, like, walk into the court like that.
And those glasses?
Right.
Go off, Giselle.
Separated father of 4.
You don't say. He asked if it was normal that Giselle was snoring, to which he was told, yes, we like doing it like that. Call the police and leave. Why are none of these people calling the police and leaving?
A father of 1. Denied rape. Placed the responsibility on the husband, who he said had presented himself online as a part of a couple who wanted to meet single men.
It had been terrible for him to find himself caught up in something like this. One can't imagine what she's been through. Bro, you were there.
You literally did it. Denied rape, but said he had been manipulated and was not capable of committing a rape. He was also a victim of the situation, as he had been duped by the husband who he had met in an online chat room. Cyprin.
43.
Father of 1. Denied rape. It was a role in a game, and she would pretend to be asleep. Quentin.
34. A prison warden. That's nice. Something wasn't right.
As she hadn't been moving. Asked why he did not call the police. And he said, I was ashamed. I wanted to get it out of my head.
Gregory, 31.
Told the court that given the state she's in, she's not really worth it. But the husband told him to go ahead.
Florian, 32.
Consenting game between 3 people.
It's not consenting if someone's unconscious.
Right.
FYI.
I didn't leave my house with the intention to commit a rape.
I bet someone said that and all the other guys were in the room or some shit.
Oh,
they were like, oh yeah, I'm going to say that too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That checks out. I also didn't.
Jean-Luc Law, a mirror maker and father of 4, admitted raping Giselle on 2 occasions.
Wow, how bold of him to admit it.
Her husband had consented on her behalf, and therefore it wasn't against the law.
Patrice, 55.
Denied rape. To my mind, it was a game, despite video evidence in court showing Giselle in an unconscious state, snoring loudly.
Your wife looks like she's really asleep. Called him sick and left. Asked why he did not contact the police, he said, I didn't want to waste my time at the police station. I'm a humble neighborhood electrician who would have believed me. Okay. Next.
6 occasions of rape.
He had denied it. He invited me in, and that a husband's consent had been enough. A husband's consent had been enough.
He denied knowledge knowing she was drugged despite video evidence showing him smiling as she snored loudly.
He was raped by several men as a child, including a priest.
Go to therapy.
Please, for the love of God, go to therapy.
I was your rapist. I was your torturer, and looking her in the eye is fucking insane.
The court heard that at the age of 13, he was raped by an uncle.
Go to therapy.
Hassan, 30. I have always said that I did not intend to rape anyone.
He felt tricked by the husband and was an encounter with a consenting couple with fantasies. He got the impression that Giselle was consenting.
Given this case, I can consider that I raped. Yes, he apologized. Today, I see consent differently.
Yeah, after the rape.
Ludovic, 39.
No intention of rape.
It was my first threesome, and I didn't know how it worked. That is insane. That is insane defense. Sir, did you rape this unconscious woman? Well, I'd never had a threesome before, so I wasn't really sure.
I wasn't really sure what to do.
Yeah, I thought maybe one part of a threesome was always unconscious.
Yeah, I thought that's just how it worked.
I thought that was just built in.
Asked by Giselle's lawyer if he accepted what he did was rape, he said, no, not at all. We are not monsters. We are men like any others.
Ugh.
That's the problem, actually. Safadine?
Safadine? I don't give a fuck. I'll say his name wrong.
Attempted rape, but denied that rape took place.
Oh my god.
I realized I did not get Madame Pellicot's consent. I'm totally conscious of the seriousness of the facts. But for me, it's an attempted rape. That is not to minimize it. I'm here for Pellicot to know the truth. Charlie. 6 times. On her birthday?
I was told it was a scenario in which she was asleep. In that scenario, she was consenting. For me, I didn't intend to rape. I didn't want to rape her. I didn't want to do something bad to that family. Video evidence showed him discussing drugging and raping his own mother with Pellicot. Christian, 57.
Denied rape. Been drugged. Video evidence. Giving a thumbs up.
In the video, it's my body, but it's not my brain. Questioned by Giselle Pellicot's lawyers on the need to always ask for consent, he said, if no one trusts anyone anymore, we'll end up having to ask for written authorization on a piece of paper. Yeah, do that.
Do that.
Go ahead.
People literally do that.
Go ahead, do that.
Nazar. Celebrate the end of his bachelor days.
So he was getting married. Great.
I'm not a rapist. Why would I rape a woman over 60?
How many times have they said, I'm not a rapist, it wasn't rape. She was old. Mm-hmm. She wasn't hot enough. So she's not a person?
Because she wasn't hot and skinny and fit.
Yeah, then it would have been rape.
Yeah, then it's rape.
Yeah.
But she's 60, so
she's 64.
Count. It doesn't count.
She's not even pretty.
No, she's not even hot.
So how can you say I raped her?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Fucking insane. Pardon? Nicholas.
Hey.
A lot of these men also seem to have a lot of child porn.
We don't say child porn anymore. We say child abuse images. Because porn implies consent, but with children, there's no consent.
Okay.
So we say child abuse imagery instead.
Gotcha. The more you know.
Joseph.
Denied sexual assault. He had caressed Giselle. There was no talking, and he heard her snoring. And he asked the husband what was going on.
He said Pellicot insulted him, so he quickly left. If I knew he'd filmed me, I would have reported him. He went in, caressed an unconscious woman. Mm-hmm. But if he had known he'd been filmed, he would have reported it. So the fact that he didn't know he was recorded doing it is the reason he didn't report it.
Yeah, he was like, oh, well, I'm not being filmed, so it's okay.
Yeah, there's no proof I was here, so I don't have to tell anyone.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph.
Go to therapy.
Hey, Joseph, go to therapy.
Boris.
I don't trust Boris one bit.
No.
See, there's so many complaints of like, oh, I didn't go there with that intent. He drugged me too. I was a victim too. But then they went 6 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, they went back multiple times.
Not all of them, but still.
A large portion of them.
Yeah. Single, regularly paid for sex. Lost connection with my brain. He said his genitals were where my brain should have been.
The way we went, oh, we're just going to read a couple of them.
Unreal.
Fucking insane.
Like, almost all of them were, like, regular people with regular jobs. And families.
Like, unsuspecting, like...
Pregnant girlfriends at home. Or out in the car.
Yeah.
Or whatever. What did she think he was doing?
Just going to some house for an hour, like... The way I would have gone in after, like, 20 minutes, been like, yo, what the fuck are you doing in here?
I would have left.
Yeah. Well, okay. I would have gone inside.
I don't know. I maybe would have tried to call him.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. And these are just the men they had proof to charge.
Yeah. When there was no less than 72 men, like it said.
And the husband, again, 20-year sentence.
That's it.
That's insane.
That's it.
And,
for
like,
everything that he did.
Everything he did to Giselle is fucking horrific.
Yeah.
But, like, all these claims of these other men saying that he also drugged them, like, tack some time on for those.
Yeah. Like, all these men are
Not
like,
that
oh,
I feel
no.
bad for them.
No, but it's
but
like...
it's still a crime.
Yeah, like, this man drugged these men, drugged his wife, recorded them, and it's like, no, only give him 20 years.
So, I want to talk very quickly before we go to the next topic. How does this go on for so long? How are there so many people involved? Men are the problem.
Because
like,
there was not a single woman.
I was going to say I hate to generalize, but I don't really.
But
like,
it's just like...
They don't understand what consent is. They think women are objects or property.
Think, oh, because the man consented, she consented.
Yeah. Well, he said, so why is it rape?
Yeah. He said it was fine.
Like, they literally don't even see her
yeah.
as her own person separate from him.
She looked dead, but, like, he said it was fine.
Yeah.
I was only 22. I didn't know what consent was.
I was only 65. I didn't know what consent was.
I was only 74. I didn't know what consent was.
Don't worry. I'm going to start a program after this where I teach boys what consent is.
Why did you have to rape someone to learn what consent was?
Unreal. But the, like... And the, why didn't you call the cops? I don't know.
I don't know.
That would have been annoying for me.
Yeah, I didn't want to waste my time. I didn't
know I was recorded.
A moment of silence for Giselle, honestly. And the fact that she just sat there and listened to these men say these things about her. And it was just like, had to listen to all these men be like, no, I didn't rape you. You're not pretty enough.
I feel like you'd fucking doubt yourself, too.
Oh, for sure.
If that many men are like, I didn't fucking rape you.
Yeah. And, like, just, like, the amount of men that were like, you weren't hot enough to rape. You were too old to rape. Your husband said it was a game that you both agreed to.
She's so strong.
She's strong for being able to sit in that courtroom.
The fact that she outed herself. Because they were going to keep her anonymous.
Yeah, and she was like, no, fucking
she made
tell
that
people
choice.
who I am.
She was like, no, we're talking about this. We're making it loud.
Yeah.
That's
like,
fucking strong.
Yeah, like, fucking tell people who I am and what I went through.
Yeah. Fine.
Fine, girl.
Fine.
Okay,
girl, we'll
you let our dirty little secret out.
Shit.
And it also ties into, like, how he was one of the instigators of that 70K men group chat.
Yep.
And how he had been arrested, and that's how they found out about that group chat.
But how can men be offended
when this is happening?
Like, how can we not be scared?
How can we not be scared, and how can you be offended?
Yeah.
When
any man that's not enthusiastically like, holy shit, this is insane, men are fucking scary, I'm gonna call out everything I fucking see, I'm gonna like any men that aren't like that,
yeah,
go to therapy. Like,
I totally get it. You're like, oh, like, I'm still a man, like, I'm still being part of it. Yeah, but if you see other men doing this shit and you're like, holy fuck, that's bad, call them out.
How many times have you excused locker room talk because it's just
you're just the
boys.
Yeah, it's just the boys.
Yeah. He was talking about raping his girlfriend. He didn't mean it like that. He didn't actually mean it.
No, he wasn't actually gonna rape her.
Yeah. Or, oh, a bunch of people said my buddy did this, but he'd never do that. So, speaking of accountability and calling people out and being responsible, a woman in Massachusetts recorded her ex during an assault to gather evidence. She is now facing charges for violating the man's consent to be recorded. Because the state of Massachusetts has a wiretapping law which prohibits recording individuals without their consent, even in situations involving abuse.
That just proves that these laws are not meant to protect women.
Absolutely disgusting.
Oh, absolutely.
I read that there was criticisms to her because she didn't go to the cops right away. It was like a few days later. So if it was actually rape, why would she not have gone right away?
Are people so for real? Like,
that's the question. That's the fucking question.
Like, if you got raped, your first thought isn't, oh my God, I have to pack up all my shit right now and go to the police.
No,
it's
I'm going to cry in my shower.
Yeah, it's
first of all,
what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like, and often, like, when you're raped, it's like, no, that wasn't rape, no, that was sex, or what just happened, or, like, what's going on? Like, am I a victim? Did I just have consensual sex? And it's a lot of, like, self-doubt.
I was raped in my life so far. Who knows?
You say that like you're 60. In my long days of living.
At this time, twice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize the first time was rape until the second time. Same guy, by the way. Shout out.
Shout out that guy.
Maybe I will someday.
You should.
We'll see.
Air his name, babe.
Anyway, so after like a few days later, after talking to a few friends and being like, oh, this happened, and a couple of my friends being like, girl, that was rape. He raped you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, because like we know each other. And they're like, babe.
That doesn't matter.
And I was like, well, we've done it before. Like, not in a couple of years, but like...
You know, like it's happened before.
Yeah, so it's not...
They were like, pardon?
And then after like I came to terms with that, and I'm like, oh my God, he did like straight up bring a blackout drunk chick home to his room. And like, why not put me to bed on the couch? Why was I in your room?
Why was I
have in so many questions. Naked? Why was his roommate in the room next door and I was screaming and he never came out and said anything? I remember realizing, like, months later, I was like, holy fuck, this happened before. And,
well,
like, that's shattering.
I feel like you're, like, in such a state of denial, you know?
Yeah, and, like, just the self-blame and the...
Yeah. Like, there's no way that could happen to me.
No.
No, like,
we were friends, we knew each other. It's just, you know, it was just weird.
Well, it's the same thing of, like, husbands. So, like, oh, well, she's my wife, she owes me sex.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
No one owes you sex ever.
No one owes you sex ever.
Anyways, that's my random personal story.
Yeah, I just think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, you.
No, you. You silly goose.
No, you.
My story about the friend of the bouncer. Yeah. So she was in a similar situation where she was, like, talking to a bouncer, and she was 19 at the time. And the bouncer, I think, was, like, 23, 24. So, like, they were close, but still, like, it's on the verge of being weird.
Yeah.
And... she was telling us girls one night that she blacked out and woke up in his bed completely naked. And she was like, what the fuck? Like, where am I kind of thing? He wasn't there. He fucking went somewhere, left her alone in his bed naked. And so she just had to get a cab ride home. And I guess she tried asking him about it. And he was just like, yeah, we had sex. And she was like, no, the fuck we didn't. And he just fully convinced her that they fucked. And she was like, we didn't have sex. I was blackout drunk. And so every time we went to the club, like, she would just see him there. Yeah, I just think it's a very big issue, and it's still like, sure, you can be offended if you're grouped in with these other men if you're a man, but why are you offended?
Oh, I think the reason I brought that story up, I just remembered, is like, it takes time sometimes to like process what you've been through.
Yeah, because you're not immediately going, oh,
and she went to the cops 3 days later. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like, that's the weekend, bro.
Yeah, like she slept until then, probably.
Oh, probably. She's probably just sitting in her shower.
Yeah.
Or rotting in bed.
Yeah.
Just being like, what the fuck?
She's like, fine, I guess I'll drag myself out of bed and go to the fucking cops today and get this whole thing started.
Yeah.
And they're like, you took too long, it didn't happen. Actually, you're in trouble.
It's like, what were you wearing?
And it literally took me years to process one of mine.
Right. Did you ever report him?
No. I wanted to. I thought about it. Specifically for the fact that because of his position, if he'd done it to anyone else, I wanted there to be, like, record.
Yeah.
That it wasn't the first time.
Yeah.
But I put it off, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. And then I had a friend who told me that she tried to report once, and the cops were fucking horrible. Like, oh, well, you were drunk, you were blah, blah, blah. And, like, it was really heavily blamed on her.
I had an ex-friend, too, that reported it to the police, and they asked her what she was wearing.
Yeah.
And she was 14.
I was horrified of that situation. I think if it happened to me now, or, like, where I'm at in my life now, I would definitely would have.
Oh, yeah.
But I was, like, early 20s.
Yeah.
I was very in the self-blame of it all.
Yeah.
And I was,
well, like, yeah, she, like, went to the cops with her parents, and the cops were just like, well, what were you wearing? And she was like, I was literally 14.
That's insane.
Right.
It doesn't matter even if you're naked. FYI.
No. It doesn't matter if you consented previously, and then halfway through you go, hey, we're not doing this anymore, and he continues, he's raping you.
Like, do we need a whole episode on consent?
Do we?
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't. At this age, in this day and age, we shouldn't need an episode on consent. Yeah, I'm definitely afraid of men of their capabilities.
Me too.
Because...
And their lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
The lack of, like, oh, I didn't realize that was rape. Oh my god, and then there's, what's his face, the guy who, like, raped the girl behind the garbage can. Brock Turner, former Stanford University student, raped a woman behind a dumpster on campus. She was passed out. Luckily, there was witnesses. This case is extremely popular because of how well he was treated in court. They didn't want to ruin his life by sentencing him too hard.
But, like, it's totally fine if he ruined her life by raping her.
Well, she's just a woman.
Yeah, that's all she is.
The case has spurred a national uproar because of the sentence criticized as far too lenient and a statement by the defendant's father complaining that his son's life had been ruined for 20 minutes of action.
20 minutes of action is fucking insane.
20 minutes of action is what they called it, which is why this went viral. Because that's fucking insane.
That is fucking... The fact that his father was like, he just wanted some puss for 20 minutes. Like, what the
You're going to ruin his life for that?
Yeah.
I am.
The way I would put that man on death row.
Hey, to Brock Turner's father, if you're listening, therapy.
Yeah. Do better. Teach yourself better. Teach your son better. And I'm so sorry for your wife if you're still married.
And children, if you have, like, daughters.
Yeah. And if this man ever gets a girlfriend, I'm so sorry for her.
The judge is also facing a recall effort and has received threats of violence to him and his family. The 23-year-old victim read her own statement in court, recounting the horror of finding out details of her attack on the news.
Also, breaking the news to your family, terrifying.
She had been intoxicated and could not remember the assault. The night the news came out, I sat my parents down and told them that I had been assaulted. To not look at the news because it's upsetting. Just know that I'm okay, I'm right here, and I'm okay. But halfway through telling them, my mom had to hold me because I could no longer stand up. I was not okay. I want you to read that for me.
6-month jail sentence. That is all he got. Also, why is it a 14-year maximum?
That's not enough.
No, that is not enough. That is not near enough.
3 years probation, registered sex offender.
Oh, womp womp. He lost his scholarship.
In addition to his 6 months jail sentence. 6 months.
6 months.
The events of that night had left him a changed person. He said the woman had consented to the sexual encounter, even as he admitted imposing trauma and pain on her. He repeatedly cited an environment of peer pressure, drinking, and promiscuity.
Again, using his time on probation to advocate against. Why do you have to rape someone, get a jail sentence to realize, oh, hey, consent is actually when the person says yes to having sex?
6 months.
6 months.
Alcohol is not an excuse, she wrote. Regretting drinking is not the same as regretting sexual assault, she added. We were both drunk. The difference is I did not take your pants off and underwear and touch you inappropriately and run away.
Period.
As
she should. The way she goes, yeah, we were both inebriated, but I didn't go, yeah, let me touch your dick.
Yeah, it went viral because of the 6 months and the father calling it 20 minutes of action.
Fuck that man. Fuck his father. Fuck everyone in that family if you supported him. And fuck men.
All of them.
All 70,000 of them in that group chat. All 50 of those men convicted. Giselle's
51.
husband. The men that raped Giselle and weren't charged. And
the guy in Massachusetts who is counter-charging a woman who recorded him raping her.
And any man who does not defend women in these situations. And who gets offended when women are like, hey, this is a problem. And you go, they're just men.
If you disagree with anything we've said today, go to therapy.
Yeah. And do not come anywhere near me.
Maybe drop a comment. We'd love to argue with you.
Absolutely.
But also go to therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to play a short game.
Okay.
It's true or false, red flag edition.
Okay.
So I'm going to read you 3 hypothetical scenarios.
Okay.
You will determine if they're normal or a red flag.
Okay.
Ready? Scenario 1. A coworker always insists on walking you to your car, even if you decline.
Is a coworker a man? I'm assuming so.
Yes.
Is it like, he's like, no, I'll walk you to your car, and he walks you to your car, or you just say no and he just stays back?
He insists. He comes with you.
Red flag.
If you say, no, thank you, I'm good, and he still walks with you to your car.
Because you should only have to say no once. You shouldn't have to.
But what if he's just concerned about your safety and wants to make sure you get to your car? Okay.
I don't give a fuck. If I say no once, you should fucking listen.
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Learn what consent is, guys.
Okay, scenario 2. A man makes unsolicited comments about your appearance multiple times at work.
Red flag.
What if it's a woman?
Can you give me an example?
What if it's me?
Then I'm kind of into it. Honestly, I've had situations from both genders, and it's fucking disturbing from both.
Definitely.
Like, if you want to compliment me and you're like, oh my god, you're so pretty. Thanks.
I mean, you are.
Stop.
Okay, last scenario.
Okay.
A friend dismisses your concerns about something as overreacting.
Depends what the concern is. If I'm reading a book and, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this ending. A person can be like, they
Chill.
could be like, Sonia, it's a
If
fucking
someone
book.
told me I was overreacting after reading a book, I'd be so pissed.
Okay, well, I'm not
Like,
into reading.
I'm in there.
Yeah, but if someone was like, Sonia, like, it's just a fucking book, I'm like, okay, whatever. But if it's something like, hey, like, that's
But if you're like, hey, this guy kind of made me feel uncomfortable at work.
Yeah, or if I'm like, hey, isn't that someone's boyfriend making out with that chick over there? And they're like, oh, you're just overreacting. I'd be like,
Am I?
Am I? Yeah, that happened to me, actually. Fun
Oh.
fact. I saw someone's boyfriend, like, hanging out with just his girl best friend that they've known for years. And then I saw him make out with her, even though he's had a long-term girlfriend of over 3 years. And I, like, told my friend, the one I was bitching to you about earlier. And she was like, oh, that just, like, happens sometimes. And I was like, pardon? Cheating just casually happens?
I mean, if they're open.
They weren't open. They're still not open. They're still together.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, guys, what the fuck are you guys
Like, I know we have differing opinions on, like, cheating.
Infidelity.
And relationships and monogamy and
I'm
whatever.
very strongly against it. And you're very strongly like, I don't give a fuck.
It's complicated. We should talk about that next week.
We should.
I'll make an episode about it. Okay. It's one of the only ones we'll argue about, I think.
I might leave crying, but, like...
You won't. I'll leave crying.
Aw.
Leave my own house crying. Anyways.
Okay, well...
I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Join us next week. Next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We will discuss our differing opinions on cheating. To which I say, none of my business.
And I say, don't fucking do it.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I don't accept being called a rapist. I'm not a rapist.
Admitted charges but denied rape. I'm not a rapist, he said.
He denied rape.
Denied rape. Denied rape. Denied rape.
He had denied it.
Asked by Giselle's lawyer if he accepted what he did was rape. He said, no, not at all. Denied rape. I'm not a rapist. Denied sexual assault. We are not monsters. We are men like any others.
That's it for this episode of Dinner Party Massacre. So, would we be welcome at your dinner party, or have we made too much of a mess? This podcast is produced by Expression North, with theme music by Matthias Rock. Links will be available in the episode description. Join us next Tuesday for a new episode, and until then, keep stirring that pot.